decision is in the hands of the jury.
In many ways,
in a few minutes, we'll find out whether they could reach a unanimous decision.
It truly was a matter of life or death.
I'm nervous right now.
Joshua Nolan limped his way into court.
My heart's pounding right now.
One of the 70 injured that night. He wanted death, yet,
But unfortunately for me, it's still just another hurdle that I have to go through.
he, like so many others who walked into the courtroom, knew in the end the defendant needed only one juror to think otherwise.
Would the defendant please stand?
2 minutes after 5 p.m., the world would learn one juror did just that.
Final sentencing verdict form. Count 1, murder in the first degree after deliberation. Jonathan Blanc. We, the jury, do not have a unanimous final sentencing verdict on this count.
The man who killed so many would be spared from the state's ultimate punishment. He will almost certainly die one day in prison, but not due to lethal injection.
I still think death is justice for what that guy did.
District Attorney George Brockler, the man responsible for the prosecution,
Jonathan Blanc, he's 26.
read each name of each victim
And Veronica, 6.
before apologizing to their families.
I asked them to trust me and to follow me, and I would try to get them to a place that I thought was justice, and I came up short.
Behind him, some who told him years ago not to pursue the death penalty. Not one appeared critical today.
As at least half the murder victims' families were for this, and they had the right to have this.
Not an easy day for certain, but as many would tell us in this matter of life or death, life in fact does go on, and not just for the defendant.
Tomorrow, something my mother said every day, sun comes up every day. Well, tomorrow the sun is going to come up.
Tonight's a very, very difficult night for the Colorado State Patrol and law enforcement. Tonight, approximately 8:50 p.m., while on I-25, one of our troopers was out near Toma Road investigating a crash, and the trooper was hit by a vehicle, and as a result, the injury sustained died on scene.
Troopers, hot 10, hot.
And then it breaks my heart, breaks our hearts, when one of our own is lost.
Present arms.
Ultimately, our hearts go out to the family of the trooper. Multiple cars from multiple agencies. What they did was on their way from the scene to the coroner's office. They came by this office. And just solidarity and support.
Order. Order.
When you're out there driving, they always pay attention and be careful. Too many lives lost on our highways.
Gratitude could be expressed in many ways.
We're going to turn left up here.
For Ken Christopher, it is shown behind the wheel of a tour bus.
The company called me and says, "Hey Ken, you've got a request. These people want you to go somewhere." And I said, "Who are they?" I have no idea who they were.
It was a friend of Ken's who was part of the Rocky Mountain Honor Flight almost a decade ago.
He put my name in, and that's how I met these guys, and it's just been a love story ever since.
That one trip inspired a tradition.
For the past 7 years, 4 times a year with these boys.
Twice each spring.
Let's stand in front of the bus here, gentlemen.
Twice each fall.
That is amazing.
Ken leads a trip that requires the precision of a train conductor.
We go to World War II, and they have time to visit there.
We lost many, many men in the service. You're thinking how fortunate I am to be here.
This is the most wonderful experience. I can't imagine that it was built for me.
A day and a half.
We came over to Arlington, to the Air Force Memorial.
I'm Army.
A dozen stops.
Everyone seems to like the FDR Memorial. The second day, we come straight to Arlington.
And I have a number who went before me, and I'm here to honor them.
All right, Harry, how you doing?
Ken feels the need to give back.
I just love doing this, and I don't tell him I'd do it for nothing.
He's been paid.
Have you seen the look on Jane's face when she gets off the bus? Coming down, and then she hits that smile. That's enough. That's all you look for.
Make it happen, kid. Make it happen.
If there really is strength in numbers,
Hey, 2 down. Let's go. Come on now. Get out. There it is.
then what happens when one number is missing?
I see him, and I see him being on that field, and I see him in the dugout.
Among the many variables baseball players face,
Gotta beat him, Brady. Gotta beat him.
few will rival the one Coach Chad Morrison
Gotta protect. Let's go.
and his Thunder Rebels faced this season.
Watch the ball, buddy. Watch the ball.
He never stopped wanting to be great.
Whoa.
Tyler was the team's natural. The very first hit of his life, years ago, scored 3.
He was 10. It's just such a cool day.
A really, really cool day for the player who would eventually embrace the number 4.
Rebels on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Rebels!
Variables. Before this season started, cancer claimed Tyler's life as it barged its way into the lives of every coach and teen on this team.
We're all right.
Yet few felt Tyler's death as acutely as Chad. For even though he considers each player a son,
It puts a lot of things into perspective.
only one was his son.
He asked me to keep coaching. He asked me to make sure that I took care of his friends and the people that he played with. And really, that's why I'm here, you know.
Tyler was a huge baseball fan, and Chad started with him very early. As far as getting him started, he tried football, and he was like,
Mom knows the season could have gone on without them.
Chad and I, we talked, and we made a pact that we're going to stick with these kids that have been with us since they were 10 and see it through.
See it through. Even though every inning, every out, every play would remind them of him, a boy who loved baseball so much that shortly after doctors used the words inoperable brain tumor, he told Make-A-Wish his final wish was to see Yankee Stadium with his dad and family.
Because they had a very, very deep bond, the love of the game, you know, they just were on that same wavelength.
Tyler and I always decided that us beating cancer wasn't going to be whether he lived or not. It was going to be whether we let it change who we were. And there are some days I doubt, you know, whether I was able to hold up my end of the deal sometimes.
It was gorgeous all day until I got here.
Even his hometown named its home dugout after the teen who spent many a day inside of it.
Thank you all so much. Wasn't expecting quite the crowd. I had a big bottle of champagne to use to christen the thing, but apparently that's for boats, not dugouts.
Try to do a knuckleball like Daddy where it ends up behind you.
Last year, not long after a chemo-swollen Tyler threw for the last time with his dad, the two had one final back and forth.
It was just him and I sitting downstairs, and he said, you know, Dad, I'm really tired. And I said, I know, buddy. Do you want to take a nap? And he said, do you want to take, you know? And he said, no, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. And he reached over and he grabbed my hand. He said, Daddy, I love you. I said, I love you too. And he said, I'm really tired. I think I'm going to go to sleep now. And that was the last time that I saw his eyes. But for us to have that moment together was something I'll never forget.
Come on now. Let's go.
Variables.
There you go, Joey.
In a sport full of them.
Good job, boys. Good job, boys.
Chad says near the end of this season,
Good job, guys.
he found it's one constant.
You guys played with an immense amount of heart.
Here, no one ever goes through this alone.
But I told you guys all at the very beginning of the season, the reason I'm here is because of you. The reason that I'm here is because every single one of you, it reminds me in some way, shape, or form of Tyler. Jackson, the way that all you ever want to do is win. Every time. The way Ethan can play damn near anywhere, or the way AJ catches behind the plate. Jared, wish I would have had you last year, right? But in the short time that you were with us, I know how much you cared about Tyler. I'll never forget that.
Whoever said there is strength in numbers,
I can't thank you enough.
likely understood the lure of baseball.
Can we get a 4 on 3? 1, 2, 3.
4! With photojournalist Chris Hansen.
Good job, guys.
Chris Vanderveen, 9 News.